Next, we will be creating our app registration. And our app registration is essentially going to be used to authenticate the bot to be able to talk to the Azure services in the back end. And there are multiple ways to do authorization and authentication in Azure. I find app registrations one of the more easier methods. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And before I move on, I just want to make a quick mention that there are a few prerequisites that are involved in this lab, just like setting up the Azure Core Tools extensions and installing Python, for instance, and installing some Azure packages within Python for this to be able to work. So if you get any errors, it is probably because of a prerequisite issue that you would need to look and just ensure that you have installed. So we'll go ahead and create this app registration. So we'll go ahead and click Terminal, New Terminal, and you can see that I've already loaded the files in my Visual Studio Code. If you haven't already, feel free to do so now. That will just need to decompress the zipped file and click on File, Open Folder, and then navigate to where you have extracted the folder. So this is just about being set up. Now this is my Anaconda, which is essentially a library manager. You don't need Anaconda. It's fine if you just go to Terminal, New Terminal, and it should just start an empty terminal session. So once the terminal session has loaded, we would need to do a simple AZ login. So AZ is the Azure Core Tools, and that's the name of the program which we'll be using to execute these commands. So again, if you don't have the Azure Core Tools installed, that is a prerequisite. So AZ login and press enter. And then now this should open up a Azure login window where you would select your Azure account. So it will open it up in the default web browser. So you would just follow the prompts to log into your Azure account, and once that's successful, this should automatically return an output of your subscriptions. Okay, I have logged in, so you'll see this hopefully spit out all of my subscriptions. It doesn't usually take this long. I believe my laptop is just going extremely slow. So you'll see a list of all of your subscriptions. These are some of mine, and you'll see yours just outputted here after you do the AZ login. The one we need is the ID of the subscription. So take a note of this ID and save it into a notepad of sorts, because the next command we'll be executing is the account set. So you will type in AZ account set -- subscription, and then in quotation marks we will specify the ID of the subscription that we want to use for the deployment, and this subscription ID would just be found right above after you do AZ login. So it should be something like AZ account set -- subscription, and then in quotations the ID of the subscription you want to set. And then I'll go ahead and press enter on that. That's done. And then now we will be creating our Azure app registration. So we'll type in AZ AD app create -- display name. So this is essentially going to be the name of the app registration. So I will call it something like Python bot PII and quotation, and then -- password. This is going to be the flag for the password. So I'm just going to write something like Python bot app 12345. So this password, I believe, needs to be at least 20 characters, include a special character and a lowercase and an uppercase character. If it doesn't work, it will tell you what the issue is, and you'll just need to set a new password. We're also going to include another flag, -- available to other tenants. And essentially what that is it's going to make our app available to other tenants do they wish to connect to our bot. So that is the command that we'll be executing. And again, all of these commands you'll find in the instructions that will come along with this laboratory. So that's the app registration all created. And another thing I like to do is just copy and paste this entire output of the app registration and save it into somewhere like a notepad so we can refer to some of the keys and IDs later. Awesome. So we are done. That is the identity made, and we will move on to the next step.